Well, I don't know what he's been doing the last 3 months, but I know you're going to enjoy it.
This one's for the
Before that, when I talked to
videotape.
him, he was very busy with doctors in New Zealand and had worked there for quite a while with a number of things that they were wanting him to do for them. He's many years in the field of electronics. One of the people whose opinions I would value very highly in evaluating anything in the electronic field, in the healing field, in the medical arts field, in that area. After 30 years with a large corporation or so in that area, then he's been doing his own research and development. Now, for the last several years, a lot of you people know him anyway. If you don't, you will very shortly. So we're glad that he's here. We know there's new things that are in a little different area for him, and I think you'll enjoy it. Are you ready? Here comes Ed Skilling.
Right here. Good eye, mites. Oh, can you hear okay? Oh, I got to turn it on. Okay. Good eye, mites. Welcome from New Zealand. Well, that's a lot of people ask me, where have I been? What have I been doing? And that is right. The last conference I attended was 1988, and shortly after that we took off on a research tour and traveled around the world and across the country, worked with a number of microbiologists, continued to do the research that we had started years ago, and finally we ended up in New Zealand the first part of this year on the second tour, and we brought the technology of electromagnetics to New Zealand. And they were very happy, and they're excellent, wonderful people, friendly people to work with. And we enjoyed ourselves very much. From there, we finally got into Florida. We continued to do our research. The first part, about the middle of this year, we spent some time in Florida working on some new equipment. And we finally ended up in St. Francisville, Illinois. And many of you here know about the Tesla watch. How many here know about Tesla watches in Albuquerque? Well, Albuquerque has put together a new program, which is very exciting, called Works, Tools and Toys for Life. And this organization has brought together a group of engineers. It's a team. It's a team operation. We're working together to bring new and wonderful products into the arena, and we hope to demonstrate one of them here this evening. First of all, I'd like to say that a lot of the rumors around the country said that Skilling is in hiding. Just recently they said Skilling was arrested and taken off in handcuffs in California. Well, I haven't been in California since 1988, so that was hardly possible. And we haven't been in hiding. After we left Idaho, we went down and moved to Arizona, where we have a laboratory down there where we're doing electronic research. And we're spending our winters there. And early this year, we had an invitation to come to Illinois and join a new organization. And it's moving forward. We're producing new and wonderful products, at least we think they're wonderful. We have a device here this evening that we're going to demonstrate, which is probably the latest thing in the audio field for stereo sets. And it's a device that's been 4 years in the design and research, and it's designed by one of my colleagues, and we'll probably get him at one of these conferences because he's a genius, exceptional young man with very fine credentials. This particular machine, I want to say something about it for a moment before we get into some of the other stuff. Sound, as you probably know, there's quadraphonic sound, and there's expanders, and there's all kinds of devices, echo chambers, and stereo systems to make them sound better. And what the intent of stereo systems or any audio is is to bring the live presence of a band or orchestra or whatever you may be listening into the room with you. So all of the engineers for a number of years, audio engineers, have worked toward that end. The young man that developed this system has achieved bringing that presence into the audience or into the living room, and you will find that we are now bringing the mind into it as well as the sound that comes into your ear. And after we talk about some of the other things, we will get into that and we'll give you a demonstration I think you'll really enjoy. Many of the people know about some of the electronic products that we built in the past when we had a company called EF Skilling Incorporated. And many of you probably know that that company is no longer in business. After I withdrew from the company in '88 and went down into Arizona to begin research, they continued to operate it. But like many things, it happened that the state of Idaho Attorney General and the FDA came down on the company and closed them up, locked the bank accounts without due process of law. They used merely a search warrant. Time's up. Time is up. Okay. So anyway, they're out of business, and a lot of people ask me, where is Larry Boucher? What's he doing? Well, we had a photographic business as well as electronics business in Idaho, and he bought a very large motor home, and he and my daughter are traveling around the country. They bought a trailer, put it on the back, and on the trailer it says Photos Plus, which was the name of the photographic studio that he was operating in Buell, Idaho. And what they do is do old-time photography. So they travel around different areas of the country, like resort areas where people enjoy this old-time photography. So they've been traveling around the country since the business closed last December. And I've continued to do research. When I moved down to Arizona, I began working on an idea that I had way back in the 1950s. And during the 1960s, Bob Beck, who I know that many of you know, and I were doing color and sound. And many times we'd bring people into a little company I was operating then. It was a Omega microphone company. We were building broadcast microphones. And we would bring people in there and we would try and combine sound with light. We would have various colors moving across a large screen, and we would accent the sounds with lights. Well, the first thing I noticed is that after we had been running this for some time, maybe 15 or 20 minutes, the people began to relax and they felt better. And I had a number of them telling me that there's something about that sound and that music that makes us feel relaxed, but gives us sort of an euphoric feeling at the same time, which is kind of hard to achieve. So I thought just what that is. And I began doing a lot of research in sound. Due to the fact that I was in the microphone business, and we sold microphones to broadcasting studios and recording studios and speaker manufacturers, I had a lot of opportunity to work with sound and music, and noticed that there's some healing effects in sound. I know that Stephen Halpern has also discovered this and is actually composing music in this area. Well, we've been interested, and I know Bob Beck has been interested in light and sound as well. So I dug back into my notes and some of the amplifiers and some of the equipment I built, and we've come up with a new system called Tonal Sound Energy. And that's what we're going to show you here this evening. This is based upon a principle of Georges Lakhovsky. Many of the people who know about Lakhovsky know about the multiple wave oscillator. Well, that's one of the first type of spark gap transmitters that was used before the electron tube came into being. And in 1925, Lakhovsky built an electron tube oscillator, an amplifier, in which he combined and used a high-frequency radio frequency. And of course, it's like a radio station. Every radio station in the world has a carrier signal. When there is no sound from the microphones, like these microphones here, it means there's no modulation and nothing comes over the airwaves. The minute you talk or the minute you have music, of course, you have a sound, and that modulation travels on the carrier. Well, this is exactly what this particular device does. This is a miniature radio station. This particular device here is where we produce the sounds, the modulations. We'll turn it on here. Now what this device is doing is sending out a carrier signal at a shortwave frequency, and it is producing sounds. I'm going to pick up a radio here that will pick up these sounds, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Now that's a typical sound, and many of you may recognize the sound from some of the other equipment that I designed in 1988. Well, these particular sounds, when placed on the body, have a very relaxing effect, and they balance the meridians of the body, making you first relaxed and then feeling very euphoric, the very thing that we were trying to do with the sounds back in the 1960s. It doesn't make any difference where you put this on the body because it permeates the entire system. We can take another electromagnetic device here. If we put this on the back where there are some small coils, you will also hear the same type of sounds. That's the modulation. Now what happens in this particular device, during a period of time, this device switches automatically and goes through a series of different sounds. In the production model, we will also have a microphone jack here where you can put the phones, a little pair of microphones on, or one of these little earphones, and you will be able to achieve some very interesting effects on the body. This equipment that you see here, this is the production probe, as we call it. This device is called the base station. This is not a production base station. It is still in work. The team member that is working with us who produces this type of modular effect wasn't able to get the production unit, the prototype production unit ready, so we just brought what we call the engineering test model. So we have built a number of these units. We placed it in the hands of several researchers. There's some studies being made in vitro. One of our colleagues is Dr. Scott Morley in England, who is a physician and not only runs a practicing clinic, but he's also has a PhD and does a lot of research in this type of thing. So he is working with us as well as many other scientists and researchers. So it's a very simple device, and we introduced it in New Zealand early this year. And New Zealand, of course, is a country that has not very good access to some of the subtle energies and some of the electromagnetic information that we have in this country. And they're very happy when someone will come over there and introduce it and hold seminars and workshops and show them what you can do with some of the US-made electronic devices. And it was very well received, and they're having absolutely wonderful effects with it. The people are using it, are creating the euphoric effects that we do to the etheric body of the person, and they're having healing effects from it. First, you heal, whenever you heal the magnetic system of your body, you heal the body. So you don't have to go into the body, you don't have to put pads under the body, you merely have to induce these particular sound tonal energies. So these devices are in production. They will be available about the first part of September. And they're sold at a very reasonable price. We're going to go from here to a device which we call, do I have enough room to get over to this device? What do we need?
On hook.
On a hook, okay.
Yeah.
And we'll get a microphone?
You still have a microphone.
Okay. We're okay, good. This is hypersonics that can be used with this little box here that you see. Now this is not the production box. This is also into production, and they will have a case similar to this case eventually, I want to explain about this a little more. This is a technology called encapsulation. We can make these devices in any shape, in any form. You can make these devices look like the grain on the piano. You can make them look like perlite, like this device is. You can make them in all different shapes. This is the particular shape that we're using. If you were to try to find out how this device operated and started chopping it up to find it, you would have total destruction because you cannot determine how this device is made. We have some the latest of technology in this device, and we're not sharing that device because there's some proprietary circuits in here. Likewise, with cybersonics, this is a small module within this device that produces the effect that you're going to hear. Now, as we put this tape on, you're going to hear music. This music is very similar to what you would have in your own stereo set at home. Breakfast something. I don't know. But the inventor of this particular device, its patent disclosures have been made. It is going into the patent office, and we've already started production on the circuitry within the unit, and it also will be available this fall to the public. In addition to that, we can have this circuit put into a chip from any chip manufacturing company, and it can be installed by the original equipment manufacturers in the stereo world today. So I'm not going to take up any more time. We're short of time, but I'd like to ask for any questions you want about any of this equipment, and we'll be glad to answer it.
How about your address?
Yeah. Okay, we're at P.O. Box 21, St. Francisville, Illinois. And where's my good friend Alonka? Come up here a second. I don't even know the telephone number. I want to tell you something about this lady. Excuse me. This lady, Alonka Harizi, who I know many of you know. Alonka has put this team together. She's done a fantastic job. And tell them where we live.
Oh, okay. It's Route 1, Box 21, St. Francisville, Illinois, 62460. And it's 62460. And it's 618-948-2393. 2394, 2395, 2244, and 2759.
Okay, tell them about
We have 6 lines, so.
Tell them about the program that you have planned in the program.
Elfworks. Elfworks is a program that we have been thinking about doing for many years. And after 6 years of working the company and the Tesla company and coming out with new products from different scientists, we decided to try to come through with a grassroots program. All of you understand what Ed's work is and Bob Beck's work and whatever, but Grandma and Grandpa and next door neighbor don't really know about these kind of weird things that we are all into. And so we want to bring these things to the public. We want to bring these things to an understanding so it's not woo-woo anymore. And that's what I call it, is woo-woo. And so Grandma thinks it's woo-woo that we're doing, and we want to convince Grandma that these things really have some scientific basis. So we tested last year. We worked with a company called Life Energy Resources, and we licensed them for 4 products. They did very well. They started selling Grandma and Grandpa and next door neighbor, doing network marketing and multi-level marketing, and they did $1 million a month in our products. So last year, our company did about $1.6 million. This year, what we're planning to do with Elfworks, we're trying to do all of our homework. We have 5 legal attorneys on staff, we have CPAs on staff, and we're doing all of our registration work, and we're going into a co-op network marketing. People that don't like network marketing, the program will be in 3 stages. So that the first part of the program is just retail discount of volume. So if you don't want to get into network marketing, you don't have to. The next step gets you into network marketing, and then the next step even into training so that you can make quite a bit of money in the program. But the real basis is to disseminate all of this technology and to get it out there into the grassroots America, which we know that they will accept the technology. If Grandma has a watch on and she says, hey, this thing is really great, then Uncle Ed and Aunt Sue and everybody starts to buy it, even though they don't understand the technology, and starts to spread out there. So we've invited all of the best scientists to come together with us and to work as one team for one time, to come together and really share their knowledge and to share their research and to spend all of that time doing that. And what we do is what we do best. That's business and marketing. We put together the marketing forum, we put together the business forum so that the scientists have a chance to just do what they do best, and we do what we do best, and we do it right because we offer that business basis that's very strong and substantial, so nobody gets in trouble like the unfortunate things that happened to Ed's company in the past. So we feel that with Toys and Tools for Life, we have a great chance to do wonderful things with Elfworks. Some of the things that are in the gray areas, we will take those instruments, we'll call them, we're not supposed to call them devices, instruments that are in the gray area, and we have small blocks, little green blocks, plastic blocks that lock in together. And these little blocks are called ELF Blocktronics. And these Blocktronics will block in together, so you'll get them in a little kit, like a toy, like a puzzle, and it'll work. Let's say you could take the old Super Pro, and all the circuitry would be done in these little green blocks, okay, which is a toy when you get it. It just happens to work like a Super Pro, okay?
You can put together yourself if you want.
Right. So Ed didn't mention that this new device has the right frequencies. He used the right frequencies, and because all of the problems that we've had in the past with the Super Pro and all the Rife generators, the FDA, it looks like it's coming down real serious more and more and more, and a lot of people are looking to get in trouble. So we're going to look at it as a toy, and as a sound machine, and as a toy and a tool for life. And so all of the equipment that looks like it's in a gray area will all be done as a toy or as a tool with Blocktronics, or as a sound machine or something that doesn't look like it's going to be too much of a problem with the FDA or look like it's going to be any of a big deal. So we're just going to have fun with it, and we're going to get it out there to the public, and we're going to make our new technology something that's going to serve all of mankind, all of us, not just us in our group, but all of mankind.
I think she said it all. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer it, but don't ask me questions like telephone numbers and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, Bob?
Several people have come to me today and said that you can walk on water. After I've seen your products, I believe it. Do you have any comments?
No comment. No comment on that.
You were saying that these were very reasonably priced. What do you consider reasonable?
Well, as an example, this device will probably be in the market for around $300. This device here, I'm not sure what the final price will be, but it will be very similar to what do you know?
Around $500, $600.
Yeah, $500–600, something like that. We really don't know what the final retail price is. We put together a few of these test models for testing purposes, and we were selling these quite reasonably just for our cost. And that program is well underway. People are having a lot of interesting results with them. Anybody else? Well, we need a lot of time here for other speakers, so I'm going to give it to you, back to you.